If you've watched any of my videos or have followed me on Instagram or anything, you know that I have a lot of pets, and as somebody with a dozen animals, it can be really easy to just kind of get lost in your routine and not really think about how much care goes into your pets every day. And if you can't tell from my calendar, it is almost the new year. Everyone wants to be organized for the new year, and I'm one of those people. Right now, I just kind of write down everything animal related in a little notebook that I have, and although it works, and I personally love an excuse to write in a little notebook, I love little notebooks, but it is not the most organized thing in the world. It's messy. It's just like at 10 p.m. when I'm feeding my animals, I'm writing down what I fed them and whatnot, and again, it's helpful. It's definitely done me well, but it's time for a little upgrade. I know as a college student, I am on my iPad constantly. I use the app Notion for all of my school needs to stay organized, and I figured if I can stay organized with school with Notion, why can't I use Notion for my actual passion? So that's when I created this little pet dashboard, and I just wanted to show how I personally use Notion to keep organized with all of my pet related things, because I know I like watching videos like these. So I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of how I use Notion. The first thing that I have on my pet dashboard is just a feed and clean schedule, so that I know that when I need to feed everybody, when I need to clean things. I deep clean once a month, and for the enclosures that need deep cleaning, a lot of my enclosures are bioactive, so they don't really need the deep cleaning that a lot of my sterile setups would use. And then I wipe down glass about every week, every other week, so it's just kind of a reminder when I wake up in the morning and I see what I need to do every day for school and for pets. It just gives me a good overview of what needs to be done, and I can also see it as a table view that I can check off as I go along, and it has everything that I would need. I don't honestly look at the table view as much anymore, but it's still helpful if that's what you prefer. And then you can have what the task is and what supplement, if it's a feeding, like when I feed my geckos, what I would want to supplement them with on that feeding, who's getting fed, But honestly, I don't use that view as much anymore. I also just have feeding trackers, weight trackers, shedding trackers, which are honestly the most used things in my Notion dashboard. It's what I come here for mostly. My feeding tracker is the most important in my opinion. It just goes through what pet was fed that day, when they were fed, if they ate or not, or if I just didn't offer but it was their feeding day, and in the notes I will say what the reason for that was, the supplement that was supplemented in that meal, mainly just used for my geckos or just lizards that require more supplementation for vitamins and minerals than other animals that I have. And that's honestly the main important part for me, because it's really important that I don't overdo certain vitamins or underdo certain vitamins, because for my geckos, for example, they have plain calcium on every meal, but once a week they have it with vitamin D3. Once a month they have a Reptile multivitamin, and I just need to know and keep track of when all of those happened so that I know what to feed my animals, And then I just have a little notes section. It's mainly just what I fed my pet, and if there's anything out of the normal, because I know when I feed my pets, it's kind of when you start to notice if anything is out of the normal, which is obviously very important to note for your pet's health. If you start noticing trends and whatnot, it's important to write that down, keep it documented. So this is also where I kind of do that, just because it tends to happen when I'm feeding. If I was to feed my pet right now, I'll just give a little example of how it's done. I just pick the pet that I fed. Say I fed the leopard geckos today, and the day it is, and then it went up here because that's how I set it up. And I have these preset options of if they ate, if I offered and they didn't eat, or if I didn't even offer. So say they ate and I gave them plain calcium, and then I can just type up whatever I need. So that's just a little example of how my feeding tracker would be done. I have a weight and shedding tracker that are pretty much the exact same, but for weights and shedding, just important to keep track of those things for my pet's health. The shedding tracker is really only used for my tarantulas and snakes because I'm not gonna know when my other animals shed, but keeping track of shedding for my snakes especially is quite important to me because one of my snakes, he's perfect, he sheds perfectly every time. I never have to worry about him, but one of my snakes tends to have a hard time shedding, so if I'm changing husbandry things and tweaking and trying to make it perfect for him, and he has a perfect shed one time or not so good the next time, I want to know the trends and so that I can better take care of him. And weight tracker, just important to track if your pet is gaining or losing weight, staying healthy, but they're not too exciting. Then I just have a quick little to-do list that I can check off as I go and write down as I go. I normally write my to-do list the night before or the morning I wake up, and today I just have to wipe down glass and work on a background for an enclosure that I'm working on. So pretty chill day other than like the normal stuff. I don't write down everything I do because that would be a lot more when most of it's just kind of ingrained in my mind now. But then it comes to my absolute favorite part of the entire Notion dashboard. I love my enclosure upgrade section. For my enclosure upgrades, they're all their own little page. For example, this is for my corn snake Cygnus. He's getting a new cage soon. It's honestly looking awesome. I can't wait to show you. But I first just have a quick materials needed section where I write down everything that I need and the prices of everything and whether or not they're purchased or not. That way I know my budget for the project and just what needs to be done. It gives a quick overview of everything that needs to happen. And I really like Notion because you can just kind of put in a little filter where if you just have the unchecked boxes, then what you purchased is gone, and then you can see your remaining budget. So I don't have to spend $800 anymore. I only have to spend about $200, and that's good to know. It makes things less overwhelming. But if you prefer to just see everything outright, it's there. And then I just have a quick little board view of a progress bar where I can just move these as I complete something. And it's just kind of a fun way to track your progress, and it feels good to check something off or to move a box to the completed section. It's just like a little reward in your brain. So I find it very helpful and it makes me happy. I just have a few, they're all pretty much the same thing, and everything's super customizable. I just have a template so that when I need them again, I have it. And yeah, it's super simple right now. I haven't decided if I want to do anything super fancy with it, but I think it's really helpful. I love it. And if for whatever reason, and if you are interested, I am selling a template of this dashboard just because when I posted it on Instagram, some people were curious, and I wanted to offer a template. Notion itself is free if you've never used Notion before, and this template I'm selling for $4. I wanted it to be cheaper, but the website I'm using takes a little bit more money than I thought it would. But eventually I'm going to have an Etsy of everything, and it will be a little bit cheaper. But for now, if you do want to support me a little and support all of my Enclosure upgrades I'm working on right now, then it's available for $4, and it'll help me a lot. And you will get the same thing. You can just put down everything that you need to do instead of all of this, and all of your pets and whatnot, and everything else is the same pretty much. It's just a blank, everything you need to do. So yeah, the link will be in the description if you do want to buy the template, and if not, maybe you have been inspired to make your own Notion dashboard for yourself. And yeah, thank you for watching.